I died choking on my own blood. The taste of betrayal as sharp as the knife in my gut. My parents' voices fading into echoes of, she was always the problem child. Good riddance. But death isn't the end when you've got unfinished business. I woke up gasping in my old queen-sized bed in the cramped two-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of Atlanta. The alarm clock blinking 6:47 a.m. on a muggy July morning in 2018, 3 years before the blade found my ribs. My hands flew to my stomach, flat, unscarred. No 9-year-old's laughter echoing from the kitchen. Brielle Harper, age 32, single mom to no one yet, staring at the faded poster of the Braves on the wall like it was a ghost. Holy shit, I was back. The first thing that hit me wasn't relief, it was rage. Pure and volcanic, bubbling up from the grave I'd clawed out of. In my last life, I'd named my daughter after the wind that carried me through foster homes after mom and dad shipped me off at 16, calling me too much trouble because I dared to dream bigger than their golden girl. My sister Elise. Elise, with her trust fund smile and her perfect life in Buckhead, married to that Wall Street dish-a-bag Chad, popping out designer babies like they were status symbols. They'd all conspired to bury me, literally, after I uncovered Dad's dirty little secret, the Ponzi scheme he'd run through the family construction business, siphoning millions from investors, including my own pathetic savings from waitressing nights. I'd confronted him at that godforsaken Thanksgiving dinner in 2021, my 9-year-old Lily clutching my leg, her wide eyes mirroring my terror as Elise smirked and Mom whispered, "Just let it go. Brielle, you're embarrassing us." The knife, courtesy of a hit Dad arranged through his shady contractor buddies, made to look like a mugging in the parking lot of my shitty diner job. They mourned me for a week, then toasted to Elise's latest ultrasound. Now, here I was, reborn in sweatpants and a tank top that smelled like yesterday's takeout. My phone buzzing with a text from Elise. "Hey sis, family barbecue this weekend? Mom's dying to see you. Bring that positive energy." Face blowing a kiss, positive energy. The words twisted like barbed wire in my chest. I smashed the phone against the wall, shards of glass scattering like confetti from hell. No more playing nice. This time, I dragged their skeletons into the light, one rotting bone at a time. But revenge isn't a sprint, it's a goddamn marathon. And I had to lace up without tipping my hand. Step 1. Get my old job back at the diner. Ears open for whispers about Harper Construction. Step 2. Pretend to be the broken-down sister they pitted. Step 3. Watch them squirm as I rebuilt everything they'd tried to burn down. I dragged myself to the mirror, splashing cold water on my face. God, I looked young, unlined. The faint laugh lines around my eyes from Lily's tickle fights erased like they'd never been. Lily. The thought of her non-existence clawed at me deeper than the knife ever had. In that other timeline, she'd been my anchor, her gap-toothed grin the only light in the endless grind of double shifts and eviction notices. Parents had hated her on sight. Another mouth to feed. Brielle? When Elise is building an empire? Wishing aloud that I hadn't ruined my life with a surprise pregnancy from a one-night stand with a musician who ghosted faster than a bad Tinder date. They'd compared her to Elise's progeny, little Theo, the toddler prodigy, already in Montessori, and baby Ava, swaddled in organic cotton. "Why couldn't you be more like your sister?" Mom would sigh, as if bloodlines came with guarantees. Snapped? Hell.
Either shut that up.
But not yet. Not until I made them pay. The drive to Harper's Diner was a blur of I-85 traffic, horns blaring like accusations, the Georgia humidity pressing against the windows of my beat-up Honda Civic like judgmental fingers. I parked in the back lot, the same spot where I'd bleed out under sodium lights, and forced a smile for Carla, the manager with a peroxide bob and a heart bigger than her tip jar. Brielle, girl, we missed your sass. Table 3's got a Karen demanding gluten-free pancakes. Handle her? I nodded, slipping into the apron like slipping into a skin I remembered too well. The breakfast rush was a symphony of clattering plates and greasy spoon banter, truckers nursing black coffee, moms herding sticky-fingered kids, the occasional suit from downtown pretending grits were gourmet. I poured refills, dodged spills, and listened. That's when I heard it, over the sizzle of bacon. Two regulars muttering about Old Man Harper's crew cutting corners on that new subdivision off Peachtree. Foundations cracking already. Folks losing shirts. My blood ran cold, then hot. Dad's scheme had started small back then, skimping on rebar, fudging inspections, pocketing the difference to fund Elise's lifestyle. By 2020, it was a full-blown fraud. Investors from church groups to retired teachers left penniless. I'd found the ledgers in his office safe during a family cleanup day, my hand shaking as I photographed emails from shell companies. That discovery signed my death warrant.
Now,
in this reset, I had time. I texted a burner number I'd set up last night, anonymous tip line to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Harper Construction, check building permits for 2017 to 2018. Rot starts at the roots.
Send.
Let the ants start marching. By shift's end, my feet ached like old friends, and I collapsed into a booth with a side of fries and a Coke, scrolling Elise's Instagram. There she was, yoga-toned in Lululemon, captioning a pic of her and Chad at a rooftop gala, grateful for the life we build together. Blessed family first. Bullshit. I knew the truth. Her blessed life was built on Dad's lies. Her silence bought with Birkin bags and private school tuition. A notification pinged, Mom's Facebook post. A throwback of us as kids. Me gap-toothed and wild-haired next to Elise's poised pixie cut. Missing these days. Brielle. Call your mother. The comments were a minefield. Your girls are so different, such a dynamic. Elise takes after you.
Karen.
Brielle's got that fire.
Fire.
Yeah. They douse it with gasoline soon enough. That night, I lay awake in the dark, the ceiling fan whirring like a conspirator's whisper. Rebirth wasn't a gift, it was a loaded gun, and I had to aim true. No rushing and guns blazing. They'd circle the wagons, paint me as the unstable one. Instead,
Ide infiltrata.
Play the prodigal daughter returning to the fold. The barbecue was my inn. I'd show up with a bottle of cheap wine and a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Probe for cracks. But as sleep finally dragged me under, Lily's face haunted my dreams, her tiny hand in mine, whispering, "Mommy, why do Grandma and Grandpa hate us?" Because they hated me first, baby. And this time, I'd make sure they choked on it. The weekend arrived like a storm front, thunder rumbling over the sprawling McMansion in Roswell that Dad's ill-gotten gains had bought. I pulled up the driveway lined with azaleas, fake as the family's piety, wearing a sundress from Target that screamed, "Trying too hard." Mom answered the door, her Botox smile cracking at the edges. "Brielle, you look rested."
Comain.
Elise is out back with the kids. Hugs were exchanged like currency, stiff and obligatory. Dad clapped me on the shoulder from his lazy boy throne in the den, eyes flicking to the TV tuned to Fox News. "Heard you're still slinging hash." Tough break after that art school pipe dream fizzled. Pipe dream. My degree in graphic design. Wasted on freelance gigs that barely covered rent. In the old life, I'd parlayed it into a junior role at a boutique agency until the family sabotage tanked my references. Out back, the grill smoked with the scent of burgers and privilege. Elise lounged by the pool in a bikini that cost more than my monthly rent, Theo splashing in floaties while baby Ava cooed from a shaded bassinet. Chad manned the tongs, his polo shirt screaming, "I row crew at Yale." "Bree, long time," he boomed, like we were frat buddies. I forced a laugh, handing over the wine. "Yeah, life's a beach." Small talk flowed like the rose. Jobs, weather, the latest Real Housewives drama. But I watched, cataloged, Dad's furtive glance at his phone, Mom's overly bright chatter about church bake sales, Elise's subtle flex of her engagement ring under the sun. Then it happened, the snaps prelude. Theo toddled over, dripping chlorine, and Mom scooped him up with a squeal.
Oh.
My little genius, already reading at 3, unlike some. The some hung unspoken. But we all felt it. Elise shot me a pity smile. "Brielle's great with kids."
Mom.
Remember how she used to babysit? Used to. Before they deemed me unfit. I bit my tongue, tasting copper, and excused myself to the bathroom. In the marble vanity's reflection, my eyes burned. Not yet. But soon. Back at the apartment that night, the rage fermented into strategy. I couldn't just leak docs. I needed proof that stuck, irrefutable as a noose. My laptop hummed to life, fingers flying over keys as I dove into public records, cross-referencing Harper Construction's filings with county databases. There was the first red flag, a 2017 variance for the Peachtree Project, signed off by Dad's golf buddy at the planning board. Bribes?
Probably.
I screenshot everything, emailing it to a ghost account I dubbed Whistle Harper. Next, I needed an ally, someone outside the web, with balls enough to bite back. Enter Jax, the investigative reporter I'd met in the old timeline at a press event for a local nonprofit. In that life, he'd been the one to run the expose after my death. Too late to save me, but enough to send Dad to a white-collar cell for 5 years. This time, I'd recruit him early. I crafted the email like a lure. "Mr. Harlan, saw your piece on corporate greed in Atlanta burbs. Got a tip on a family biz playing fast and loose with foundations. Interested in coffee? A concerned insider."
Send.
While I waited, I prepped for the long game, enrolling in night classes at SCAD's Atlanta campus for design, scraping together tuition from diner tips and plasma donations. No more scraping by. I'd build an empire of my own, pixels and pitches, something they couldn't touch. But the real fuel?
Lily.
In dreams, she visited, a spectral 9-year-old with my curls and eyes like storm clouds. "Mommy, fix it," she'd say, her voice a whisper on the wind. Fix it I would, starting with unearthing the buried secret that started it all. Flashback to 2005, me at 12, rummaging in Dad's desk for birthday cash. Instead, I found letters, yellowed envelopes from a lawyer in Savannah, detailing a settlement for a workplace accident at Harper Senior's site.
A Latino immigrant worker.
Crushed under a beam due to faulty scaffolding. Dad covered it up, paid off the family, and buried the file. That was the original sin, the rot that spread. I'd confronted him once, in my 20s, after too much boxed wine at Christmas. It was mercy. Brielle, he'd slurred. They needed the money more than justice. Mercy. The word soured everything.
Now.
Reborn. I'd resurrect that ghost. Jax replied within hours. Coffee sounds intriguing. Tomorrow.
10 Uhr morgens.
The Grit? Bring details or don't come. The Grit, vegan joint in Midtown. All exposed brick and overpriced lattes. I arrived early, nursing a black coffee. Nerves jangling like loose change. He slid into the booth. Mid-40s with salt and pepper stubble and eyes that dissected lies for breakfast. So, insider. What's the play? I slid a USB across the table. Prelim docs. Nothing traceable yet. Construction fraud. Skimmed materials. Bribed inspectors. It's systemic. And it's my blood. His brow arched. Personal stake? That's either gold or a lawsuit waiting. I leaned in, voice low. Personal as it gets. They kill my trust, maybe more. Dig. And you'll hit pay dirt. We talked angles, FOIAs, whistleblower protections, the human cost, cracked homes sheltering families on the brink. By the time we parted, he had my burner number and a fire in his gut. If it's real,
Brielle.
we'll burn it down. Clean. Emboldened, I pushed deeper into the family charade. Midweek dinner at Mom's, her idea, to catch up. The Colonial in Alpharetta gleamed with HGTV perfection, granite counters. Sub-Zero fridge stocked with kale smoothies. Elise was there, of course, regaling with tales of Theo's potty training triumph. He's advanced.
You know?
Chad's genes. Chad chuckled, slicing prosciutto like a Bond villain. Dad dominated the talk, booming about the market's hot, Harper's Landing bids left and right. I nodded, forking salad, but under the table, I recorded on my phone. Lies layered like the tiramisu for dessert. Then the bomb dropped, casual as a weather report. Mom sighed over decaf. Brielle, honey, have you thought about settling down? Elise has it all figured out. A man. Kids on track. You're 32, clock's ticking. Elise chimed in. Saccharine. I could set you up with Chad's colleague. Nice guy. Divorced. No baggage. Baggage. Like my non-existent spawn was a scarlet letter. In the old life, this needling escalated to outright sabotage. Mom accidentally spilling my infertility struggles a lie. But it stung at a family reunion, painting me as the barren black sheep. I snapped back then, storming out, but it isolated me further. This time, I smiled, slow and sharp. Settling down?
Nah, Mom.
I'm building up. Got my eye on a design firm downtown. Real legacy stuff, not just popping out airs. The table froze. Dad's fork paused midair. Legacy? With what? Your doodles? Elise tittered.
Oh.
Bree. Always the dreamer. Dreamer. The word ignited something primal. I excused myself to freshen up, locking the powder room door and dialing my burner. Jax picked up on the first ring. Got audio, Dad bragging bids. Cross-reference with SEC filings, something's off. He whistled low. You're in deep. Watch your back. Watch my back. Too late for that in the last round. Emerging, I played the contrite daughter, helping with dishes while Mom whispered, We're just worried.
Sweetie.
Elise sets the bar high. High bar. more like a noose disguised as pearls. The weeks blurred into a tense tango, diner shifts blending with late-night hacks into public APIs for build permits. Jack's feeding me leads on affected homeowners. One name stuck, Maria Gonzalez, widow of that 2005 victim, now waitressing at a strip mall talk area. I visited under pretense of community outreach, buying tamales and her story. My Ramon, he was a good man, worked hard. Then the beam. They said accident, but I know. Paid us off like dogs. Her eyes, weary under fluorescent lights, mirrored my own. I slipped her my card, fake name, real number. If you want justice,
Call.
no more silencing. She nodded, tears salting the salsa. That night, I cried for the first time since waking, not for me, but for the ghosts piling up. Elise's birthday loomed. A catered affair at their Buckhead loft, string lights, craft cocktails, Atlanta's elite toasting her 35th. I RSVP'd yes, arming myself with a gift, a custom sketch of her perfect family, laced with subtle barbs and a hidden recorder. The party pulsed with bass from a DJ, air thick with perfume and pretense. Chad cornered me by the charcuterie, Scotch breath hot. Heard you're stirring shit at the paper. Dad's pissed, some leak about permits. My pulse thundered. Already? Stirring? Just curious.
Bro.
Transparency's sexy. He laughed.
Ugly.
Stay in your lane.
Bree.
Or you'll regret it. Regret. The word echoed as I circulated. Charming investors Dad had fleeced. Planting seeds. Heard about those foundation issues?
Wild.
Right? Whispers spread like wildfire. By midnight, as Elise cut a 3-tiered cake, Dad pulled me aside in the study. Face thunderous. What the hell are you doing? That reporter. You're doing? Denial was my shield.
Me? Dad.
I'm just trying to fit in. His grip on my arm tightened, veins bulging. Fit in or fuck off. Family sticks together. Sticks. Like the knife. I wrenched free, heart hammering, and slipped out into the night, the city lights blurring through tears. The snap was coming full force. No brakes. But first, a controversial call. I needed leverage that cut deep. Scouring Elise's socials, I found it a tagged photo from college, her and a sorority sister at a rally, signs reading my body, my choice. Hypocrite. In the old life, she'd pressured Mom to abort me during a rough patch, but Dad vetoed for optics. I debated weaponizing it. Anonymous post to her PDA group? Too petty. Too soon. Instead, I filed it away. A dagger for the climax. Jax called at dawn. We got a bite. Homeowners Association suing. Your tips lit the fuse. But Harper's lawyering up. They suspect an insider. Good. Let them paranoia fester. I geared up for the counterstrike, applying to that design firm. Pitching a portfolio laced with subtle exposes, infographics on urban decay. Inspired by local scandals. Acceptance email pinged 2 days later. Welcome.
Brielle.
Start Monday. Victory tasted like ash without Lily. But it was progress. The family dinner invite followed. Mom's olive branch. Let's talk. Sunday roast.
Sunday.
The trap sprung wide open. I arrived to the dining room tableau. Roast chicken golden. Potatoes fluffy. Tension thicker than gravy. Elise cradled Ava. Cooing, Theo finger-painted with peas. Dad at head. Mom at foot. Me opposite Elise like duelists. Small talk died fast. Brielle, Dad growled. This leak bullshit ends now. You know anything? I met his eyes. Steel to steel. Leaks? Like water under foundations. Mom gasped. Elise's smile fractured. What are you implying? Everything. The original sin. The skimmed lives. The blade in the dark. But I played coy. Just saying. Families got secrets. Like that old accident. Ramon Gonzalez. Ever wonder about him? The room imploded. Dad's face purpled. Ancient history. Drop it. Mom whimpered. Brielle. Please. Elise stood. Baby in arms. You're jealous. Always have been. My life. My kids. They're what you can't have. There it was, the core rot. Jealous. Of perfection built on graves. I rose slow. Chair scraping like a verdict. Jealous?
No.
Sis.
Pissed.
At the lies. The cover-ups. The way you all wished I and mine never existed. Theo wailed. Ava fussed. Dad lunged, but I was out the door. Engine roaring before they could follow. In the rear view, their perfect world cracked. Snap achieved. Revenge? Just warming up. The fallout hit like a Category 5. Voicemails from Mom pleading therapy. Brielle, think of the family. Texts from Elise blocking me with a final, you're toxic. Stay away from my kids. Dad went radio silent. But Jax buzzed. Subpoenas incoming. Your anonymous tips? Gold. But they're circling, PI tailing me. Tailing. The old playbook. In the last life, it started with slashed tires, escalated to the mugging. This round, I varied routines. Diner to design desk. Zigzagging midtown alleys. Eyes in every reflection. Work became sanctuary, my cubicle a war room. Sketching campaigns for ethical brands while moonlighting on Harper Watch, a shadow blog aggregating scandals. Views climbed, 500, then 5K. Comments raging, finally. Someone calls out the elite grifters. But isolation gnawed. No Lily to hug. No late-night story times, just echoes in an empty apartment. Takeout containers, my only company. I dated once. A barista named Tyler with tattoos and trust issues. But it fizzled when I froze at his hand on my waist, phantom knife twinge. You're holding back, he said. Damn right. Love was a liability, revenge. My lover. Still. Maria called, the widow. I saw the blog. Ramon's name. Thank you. We met at her taqueria. Sharing flan and files, faded photos, yellowed pay stubs. They paid $50K. Said it was generous. Generous.
I vowed.
We'll make it millions in justice. She hugged me fierce, smelling of cumin and courage. First real ally. Not family, but blood deep. The climax brewed at the Harper Family Summit. Dad's demand via certified letter. Resolve this. Or consequences. Neutral ground. A conference room at their lawyer's firm in Centennial Tower. Glass walls overlooking the skyline like a cage of ambition. I arrived in power suit, thrifted blazer. Heels that clicked authority, flanked by Jax, who posed as consultant. They were arrayed opposite. Dad hulking, Mom sniffling into tissues. Elise porcelain perfect with Chad's hand possessive on her knee. Lawyer drone intoned NDAs. But I waved it off. No papers burying this. Let's talk truth. Truth spilled like venom. I laid it out. The 2005 cover-up. Docs from Maria projected on the wall via my tablet. Gasps rippled. Dad blustered. Fabricated. But Jax countered with cross-checked manifests, missing materials traced to offshore accounts. Elise cracked first. Daddy. Is this? Mom dissolved into sobs. We did what we had to for the business. For you girls. For Elise. She meant. The golden child. Shielded from stains. My turn. The betrayal's heart. You wished me gone from the start.
Me?
And the kid I hadn't even had yet. But I did, Lily. Named her for the wind that carried me when you threw me away. Lies in this timeline. But truth echoed from the grave. They paled. Had they sensed the fracture? What kid?
Chad scoffed.
I laughed.
Bitter.
The one you'd have sneered at. Not perfect like Theo and Ava.
Just.
Real. Chaos erupted. Dad slammed the table. Ungrateful bitch. I built this empire. On bodies, I shot back. Ramones. Mine. The mine hung. Unspoken blade. Elise lunged across. Nails raking my arm. You ruined everything. My life, our life. Controversial decision time. I could de-escalate, walk away with the exposé locked. Or push. Shatter irreparably. I pushed. Your life? Built on fraud. I know about the rally. Elise, the one where you marched for choice. But you wanted Mom to end me. Right? For convenience. Her face drained to ash. Mom whimpered confirmation. The room spun into accusations. Dad confessing slivers. It was one bad call. Elise wailing. I was scared. Chad dialing his own lawyer. Jax recorded it all. Sly phone under the table. Snap, full. Glorious fracture. We stormed out to flashing cameras. Jax's tip to local news. Headlines screamed, next day, Harper construction scandal. Family implodes in fraud confession. Stock plummeted. Lawsuits snowballed. Dad arrested by week's end. Cuffs chafing his Rolex. Mom checked into rehab, code for denial. Elise? Divorce papers from Chad. Custody battles over perfect kids now pawns in tabloid hell. She called once. Voice broken. Why? Bree? We were sisters. Were. I echoed. Until you chose silence over blood. Twist came quiet. In the aftermath's hush. 6 months on. Empire ashes. I stood at SCAD's commencement, diploma in hand. Portfolio deal with a green ad agency. Maria testified. Winning restitution for Ramon's kin. Homeowners rebuilt on truth's firmer ground. But the real gut punch? A positive test in my bathroom. Dawn light gilding the stick. Lily reborn. Not as ghost but flesh. Ultrasound confirmed. Girl. Due July 2022. Fate's wink. Or my will rewriting stars. I texted Jax. Drinks? Got news. He replied. About time you let light in. The old apartment traded for a sunny loft in Inman Park. Agency buzzed with my tell-all campaign on corporate accountability. Elise reached out via letter, penitent, promising change. I burned it, but kept the photo. Us as kids. Wild and poised. Forgiveness? Maybe for Lily's sake. But trust? Buried with the schemes. As contractions gripped in that sweltering summer ward, I pushed through pain, through ghosts, until her cry pierced the air. Brielle Lily Harper. Eyes like storms. Fist raised defiant. Mom? No, Nana. Perhaps. If she earned it. The nurse placed her on my chest, tiny heart thundering against mine. We're free, baby, I whispered. No more wishing us away. In the window's reflection, Atlanta sprawled, flawed, fierce.
Mine.
Revenge wasn't destruction, it was rebirth. Theirs shattered, ours just beginning.
And damn,
It felt good.